This is continuation to our lesson responsive web design, basic HTML and HTML5. Let's jump to the question. Change your external link to an internal link by changing the href attribute to hashtag footer. We'll delete the link and add hashtag footer. Remove the target blank attribute from the anchor tag. We'll delete the target blank. Then add ID attribute with a value footer. Footer ID equals footer. Run the test. The A text should be jump to bottom. Let's add jump to bottom to a text. We left it the way it was. Delete cut photos. Copy the text, jump to bottom, then we paste it to the anchor text. Run the text. Next, an anchor element within a paragraph. Let's go to the question. Next, the existing A element within a new P element, P. The text should be view more, cut photos, where cut photos is a link, so view more. Then add a closing tag. Then run the text. Then submit. The next question, make dead links using the hash symbol. The current value of href attribute is a link that points to the link shown. Replace the href attribute value with a hash, which is a dead link. So href, delete the link, then replace it with a hash. Run the test. Next question, turn an image into a link. Place the existing image element in a anchor element. Once you have done this over the image with your cursor, replace with the anchor href equals hash, then a closing tag. Then close the anchor tag and run the text. Create a bulleted and ordered list. Bulleted and ordered list, you use your L. Remove the last two P elements. Oh, I removed. Of three things that cat love and the bottom of the page. So you have to remove the two P elements. So I have removed only one. Then add three things that cats love. People, let's add people. Run the test. You submit. Create an ordered list. So ordered list, OL and list. That's what we use. Let's reset the topic because it was kind of answered. Top three things that cats eat. Let's copy the text and paste it under the top three things that cats eat. Then add one more. Can cats eat dogs? Let's add dogs. then closing tag. Let's run the test and check it out. Next, create a text field. Create an input element of type text below your list. Input type, then text. We will copy the input type because it's the answer to the question. Then hand it below the list. Input type equals text. Then closing tag, then run the test, submit and go to the next text. The placeholder text to a text field. Set the placeholder value of your text input to cat photo URL. So we will go down the list and add a placeholder with input text, which will be cat photo URL. Placeholder, then text input should be cat photo URL. Let's copy the cat photo URL text and paste it there as the input text. There. Next challenge. Create a form element. Nest the existing input element inside a form element and assign the following links to the action attribute of the form element. So we will go and nest the existing input element inside a form element as shown on the form action, then link, then input, then close it with the form. So here below the code of our website, let's nest it with a form element. Then it's just a text. Let's add a form element. Form action equals, we copy the URL given and paste it there. Then remove the two. Okay. Then hand the closing tag and run the test. Your form element should have well formed open and close tag. So we have left our form without a closing tag. So let's check where we have gone wrong. Not there. Let's add a closing tag to a form. Then run the test. Next question, add a submit button to a form. Add a button as the last element of your form element with a type of submit and submit as a text button type equals submit and submit as a text closing tag closing that submit as a text then closing button tag. Use html5 to replace a field. Let's use make your text input a required field. We'll have to make a text input a required field, required and required. On the test. Next question, create a set of radio buttons. We create a set of radio buttons using label and input ID. So add a pair of radio buttons to your form, each nested in its own label element. We copy the code because the question is asking and paste it inside our form. Then paste it again. We were told we should have the option of outdoor, so we should change the indoor to outdoor. Then outdoor. The label should be, the first one should be indoor, the label for the second one should be outdoor, the input ID should be outdoor, and the anchor text outdoor. Then we submit. Create a set of checkbox. So let's copy to add the checkbox, and it should be inside the form. So label having ID, you can see the difference. Its type is radio, here type is checkbox. Let's copy thrice, let's paste thrice. Because we were told enter your form a set of 3 checkboxes, so they should be 3. Let's change that to kind and then run the test. Submit. Use the value attribute with radio button and checkboxes. We will have to add a value attribute. Now code. Let's go to the question. Give each of the existing radio and checkbox input the value attribute each. So every radio and checkbox input, let's give them the value attribute. Value equals indoor. Then let's go in the outdoor label and add the value equals outdoor. Let's jump to the checkboxes. and hand the value. So let's add before the personality value equals loving. The second checkbox value equals lazy. The third checkbox value equals energetic. Run the test. One of your checkboxes should have the value attribute of energetic. Small. Check radio button and checkbox by default. Set the first of your radio buttons and the first of your checkbox to both be checked by default. So we will add checked to the first radio and first checkbox. Let's add checked. Then checked to the checkbox, to the first checkbox, which is loving. Checked. Then run the text. Next question. Nest many elements. Nest your things cat love and top 3 things cat hate list are within a single div element. We will add a opening div element and closing div element in things cat love and top 3 things cat hate. Opening div, then closing tag below the list div, then run the test. Doctor type HTML. Here's an example of the page structure. Your HTML code would go in the space between the HTML tag. Under doc type tag for HTML5 to the top of the blank HTML document, and add h1 tag, h1 element. The ending can include any text. I will not add any text. So, but you can add your text of choice between the opening tag h1 and the h1 closing tag. Then our last question, define the ended body of an HTML document. Let's jump to the question. Define the ended body of an HTML document. Edit the markup so there is a head and a body. The end element should only include the title. Let's add head element, opening tag, and closing tag below the title, because they should include only the title. Then, and the body element should only include the h1 and the p. So the body should only include the h1 element and the p. We'll add it before HTML tag, body, And remember, it's a closing tag. So you will add the / and run the text. We are done with our HTML and HTML.